Welcome back to Platonically Yours, a podcast about platonic love. Today we're recording on Ngunnawal and Ngambri country, and we pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. Today, joining us, we have Jemma from the Psychology of Your 20s podcast. Hello, how are you?
I'm so well.
Welcome.
I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you for being here. Before we get going, do you just want to tell us a little bit about yourself, why you're in Canberra?
Why I'm in Canberra, why I'm back in Canberra.
Yes.
I'm Jemma Sbeg. I run the Psychology of Your 20s. I also run my other podcast called Mantra, which is like the spiritual sister of my OG podcast. And I just released a book called Person in Progress.
Yes, and the book is right here.
Oh my gosh, good job, Rowena. She was ready with the cue. And I'm on tour. So I'm like going around and doing, I didn't want to do like a conventional, like I'll sign your book and we can talk for 2 minutes kind of tour, which I think it's still great. But I wanted to like have dinner with everyone. So that's what I've been doing. We've been doing these dinner with strangers. And we did one in Sydney. We did one in Canberra last night. And we're going to Brisbane today and then Melbourne. But you, Rowena, came to my dinner last night.
I did. It was super fun, super wholesome.
It was
so
really
many
wholesome, wasn't
great
it?
ladies there.
Yeah.
So many fun conversations.
I will say every time I do one, I'm like, whoa, you guys are so impressive. Like every single person I meet, I'm like, oh my God, you're the coolest person I've ever met. It's just like, everyone's so inspiring.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was great. I met so many different people from so many different walks of life. Like I was sitting next to a lawyer and then there was like a painter and a human rights person in one, like at the end of the table. And
traveling nurse who like works in rural areas. Like
it was incredible.
Yeah.
Were there many people from your previous Canberra days there?
Well, no, because we're talking about friendship today. None of my friends live here anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, because I came here for uni and then a lot of them came here for uni. And then they all packed up and left. I think the last one left last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
All of them.
All of them.
Damn.
And obviously there's people here that I know, but like we're not really that close or friendly. So I'm like, well, if you want to come, obviously you're welcome to, but I'm not going to be like, come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all new friends.
All new friends. And the girls I'm traveling with.
Yeah.
Jess, who runs Everyday Solitude, which is like an amazing mental health initiative.
And I'm so glad to also be introduced to that.
I know.
Can I just say?
It aligns so well with you guys.
Yeah. It was so cool reading all the little cards at dinner last night.
That's so cool. Did you have a favorite question?
Some of them got so deep, like real quick. There was one that I enjoyed about like no one asked the question to anyone, but it was like, what's the most pain you've felt in the last 12 months? And I was like, wow, like
Diving
it just makes
right in.
Yeah, it makes you really think about it, you know. But then there's other really lovely ones like who as a person stands out in your childhood, like who was always there.
What do you think about gossip or tell us about your first kiss? Like they're super, super cute.
Fun.
They're fun. Actually, I shouldn't say cute because that kind of like infantilizes it. It's super, super meaningful and really amazing.
And people got around it. Yeah. Whenever there was like a break in conversation, people were like,
Yeah. Perfect.
It was great. And the food was really good. It was really, really delicious.
I still can't get over the whipped ricotta.
Yeah. Sorry. We're like
Anyway,
been there.
FOMO.
We're chatting too much about things that
Ricotta.
But it was good ricotta.
It was really
I
good.
believe
And
it.
the bread was like,
And I was
chef's
like,
kiss.
this is sweet. And you were like, yeah, it's ricotta. And I was like, oh, that's what this is. I thought I didn't like this.
Anyway, today we have you to talk about making friends as an adult.
Yeah.
And also, I guess, the importance of community in facilitating that.
Yeah.
Because I guess we grow up and we always have like these opportunities to meet people because we're in school, we're in after school activities, we're doing all of these things. And then as soon as you leave academia as an adult, if you even do that, which some of us choose not to, our opportunities to meet people lessen. And there was something that we have been listening to your podcast and all
Plug.
and all of the wonderful episodes that you've done on friendship. And I think it was episode 46.
An early one
Where you actually say being alone and being secure in your loneliness is one of the most important lessons you need to learn in your 20s. And I thought...
I said that.
You said that. And I thought that's such a good way to start this conversation about like adult friendship and finding your community and finding your people. Because I think we definitely have been talking about this, and that's been something that like we've reflected on, and we're like, well, yeah, if you're not like obsessed with yourself, then how do you project that onto others, and how do you find those people? How do you know your true version of yourself and how that aligns with other people? So we'd love for you to talk a little bit about that to get us started.
That quote, well, I do actually remember saying that. I was kind of joking before. One of my guiding philosophies in life is that solitude is incredibly sacred. And actually, we have a loneliness epidemic for a lot of reasons. And this is only one part of that. And it is that our intolerance for loneliness is completely messed up. Is in some people crave it and withdraw, and then other people are so afraid of it that they can't ever be alone. And I think that is actually creating equal parts of a loneliness epidemic. And the solution, especially for that second group of people, and I used to be one of them, who was like, I need to be around people constantly. And even if I am with people 24/7, the moment I am alone, I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't have any friends. And I remember when I lived in Canberra, it was particularly rough, to the point where, and this is going to sound delusional and weird, but I was so like overwhelmed by the fact that I felt so lonely and disconnected that I made a list of everyone who I thought would come to my funeral at this point in my life. And I'm not even joking.
Whoa.
And I was like, that's a bit sick. Like, I was genuinely like, okay, well, to prove to myself that I have friends, I have to write down who would miss me. And I was like, that's insane that's what that takes for you to feel connected. And that's really where I started like genuinely practicing loneliness and being like, this is a deliberate decision that I made to not feel so beholden to it anymore. And so I would do the usual things, go on solo camping trips, solo travel. And then I would do other things, which was, deliberately keep a Saturday night empty. Or, an activity that I would typically want someone to do with me, I wouldn't do with them. Like, I would go to movies alone. It's a classic one. I would go out for dinner alone. And it really changed the relationships that I have with my friends, where I really value them more. I also have less tolerance for people who aren't good friends, because they're not just there to fulfill some need for me. Like,
just like fill the void.
Yeah, exactly. Fill the void. And it's been amazing. And now I'm probably a little bit too much alone. So I'm like, I'm slowly becoming the first type of person. So I need to bring myself back a little bit. But yeah, I think loneliness is sometimes a gift, actually.
I agree. I'm also someone that practices it quite a lot. Like taking myself to like very isolated islands in like the Scottish Highlands.
Oh, that is a new level. I need to get on your
level. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I can do this. I can be by myself.
What's the hardest thing that you two do by yourselves that you find hard to do alone?
Oh my gosh. I feel like I really relate to what you just said. I mean, I've not made a funeral list. That's pretty iconic.
That's one word for it.
But I definitely like often feel leading up to birthdays, I make a list of like, well, who would I invite and who would actually be there? And as a reminder of like, should I even do anything? Would anyone even come? I don't know. So I really relate to that, like spending a lot of time with people and just leaning into it. And then suddenly on your own, you're like, no one. I don't possibly have any friends. But I also really do enjoy doing things on my own. I feel like being in a small city that you're from, because we both grew up here, I've had a complicated relationship with that at times in the past, because sometimes I think if I go somewhere alone, you're not actually alone in Canberra. Like, you're going to bump into someone you know.
That's why I left. I didn't deal with that anymore.
And so I have been through periods of like more heightened social anxiety where I've thought, oh my God, I'm going to go to a cafe alone, which is something I love to do. And if I was in a new city or traveling, I would absolutely be doing that.
Yeah.
And even in my own city, I want to do that. But like the thought of being somewhere and someone being like, what are you doing here alone on a Saturday morning?
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I do know. I feel like, can't help you with that one.
I'm the opposite. I just go alone. And
Yeah.
just deal with the repercussions.
Well, but I mean, I think
different people, different.
that then
different
means
things,
that
right?
I often go to places where I know I'm not going to bump into people.
Yeah. But also,
which
I
you
think
can't even do in Canberra still.
Yeah.
And then I just lean into like totally removing it. It is
Yeah.
really nice to be alone.
It is really nice. I do also think there's like another category of this loneliness epidemic we're talking about. And there's actually something that that you're making the list before your birthday is really important to note, which is that sometimes you just don't actually have friends. And it's like, yes, and that's the really hard thing. And it's like, I'm lonely just because I don't have my people. And that can mean that loneliness, it's so hard to make it a practice if it feels forced upon you. Especially in our 20s. Like, I asked you this question last night, and I've been asking a lot of people this, which is, do you want more friends? And you said no.
I did say no, but I said it was a caveat.
Yeah, there was a caveat. There was.
Yeah, I think I have very important relationships in my life that I put a lot of energy and time in to make them what they are. And so I think what I'm looking for isn't necessarily like that very long-term, enduring connection, because I have, I can count probably on one hand those people that I have in my life.
Yeah.
What I'm looking for is a community.
Yeah.
So I think, and this kind of brings us to our next topic that we wanted to talk to you about, is like this community thing. But I've been craving a community of people that are pursuing the same sort of life and lifestyle that I am, and are in the same sort of fields. I think it's really hard because all of my friends who I love very dearly, a lot of them aren't doing creative work. A lot of them are settling into very different careers, and that's fantastic. And I'm so proud of them. And if it makes them happy, it makes me happy, and it doesn't change the level of love or commitment that we have to one another. But it just means that at times I feel maybe a little bit less seen.
And it is a bit isolating, I think.
And so then you're isolated within these really beautiful relationships that you so cherish and you're not ready to let go of. And so I think for me, it's that was the caveat I threw on last night. It's not necessarily finding lots of friends. It's making sure that they're intentional and that it's like a community that I'm building. I think a big thing, coming back to that quote of yours, like how do we put ourselves into these community, I guess, as an adult seeking an adult friendship?
Yeah.
How do you put yourself into communities without those fears within yourself, about yourself?
Not feeling worthy or not.
Actually impacting your ability to connect and become a part of that community.
I talk about this all the time because I'm like, community is my drug of choice. I was the same as you. I went from having a corporate job and all my friends are lawyers and accountants and nurses and psychologists and teachers, and they're so cool and impressive. But then I would be like, oh, like this, and this sucks, someone like has decided to like freaking dox me, or like someone has like been a hater online, or, oh, this person won't pay for a contract, or like I'm really unhappy with this creative thing I made. And they're like, and it's not that they don't want to understand, but they just don't. And sometimes there's like unique things that you also don't want to complain to, like, your friend who's a paramedic just saved someone's life, and you're like,
oh my God,
podcast
literally.
recording went bad. Like, but like or like, oh, I'm so worried about whether I can make money over this, blah, 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 blah. So it's not that they like don't care. It's just that sometimes you kind of feel like a dick being like, I'm going to complain about this, but it's important to you, and it is really hard sometimes. So anyone looking for community, not just creative community, if you want new friends, if you're in, a city that you've lived in since you were a child and you're like, I need some, like, I can't be friends with everyone I've been friends with since high school anymore. I kind of always recommend, the first thing is to completely let go of your ego about it. And to just literally say to yourself, I want to make more friends. And then to say to people that you meet, I want to be your friend. We are going to be friends. And I know that sounds ridiculous. One of my best friends, I actually two of them, I said that to them like the first time I met them. I remember my friend Kate, I met her at college and I was like, I want to be your friend. We're going to be friends. And she was like, okay, weirdo. Lo and behold, that woman is pet sitting my dog right now. Like, and so just say it. And if someone, and it's a great litmus test, because if someone is like, no, it's like,
what is a litmus test?
Oh, like kind of like like a question that tells you a lot about someone without being a direct question.
That's a really good way of explaining it.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, when you ask like guys, like, what do you think of Beyonce? And if they're like, oh, she's overrated, and like, I don't get why everyone thinks she's so talented, it's like, nah, you're off the list. Or like, you know, like, what do you think of, I don't know, you'd say like, what do you think of some successful women? It's a great way to tell what a man really thinks about women
What
in
do you
general.
think about therapy?
Yeah. Oh, my dad's in therapy. What do you think about that? Like, that's a litmus test. And so being like, I want to be your friend is a great litmus test. The other thing I always say is the easiest way to make friends is through proximity. So putting yourself in the places, in the spaces where people you believe are like-minded would hang out. Now, obviously, for some things, that's easy. If you like rock climbing, you can go to the rock climbing gym and you will meet people who also like rock climbing. But if it's a bit more, you know, blurry and you're not quite sure what you even like, just try a bunch of stuff and start doing things at the same time every day. So when I moved to Sydney, I didn't have many friends. I would go to the same boxing class 3 times a week, same time. And I'm not a routine person, but I was like, this is how I'm going to make friends. And I made friends. I'd go to the same cafe, and then I got community through knowing strangers in my community. I talk to my neighbors, and they're like in their 70s, and it's like community isn't just people who are your own age who have shared interests as you. That's one part. It's also people who you can ask for help and who you can just have like a little casual chat with.
Like familiarity is, I think a big part of that.
Yeah, and familiarity and just being like, oh, we have nothing in common. And this is not convenient necessarily, but like we are friends. And then this is a specific piece of advice for people who are like you, Rowena, and like in a creative space. Get a co-working space. I was so lonely when I first started working for myself because all my friends would obviously go to work and I wouldn't see anyone until like 6 p.m. And so I'd spend the whole day by myself. Then obviously they were also going to work, but they had colleagues, but they had colleagues and co-workers, so they could just like, you know, your co-worker made you that necklace, and you know, you get to have chats with them, and so that's what I would recommend. And you can find them for very, very, like for me it was $40 a day, and I was like, what does that end up being? $4 an hour?
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad.
To put yourself out in the world.
Yeah, and you make connections, and it's great.
Yeah, no. That's great advice. Do you have any questions before we start?
I just have a couple of things to relate to that, if I may.
Please.
To begin with, when you said, like, if you don't even know what you want to do, what you want to kind of spend time doing, what hobbies you want to pick up, I really relate to that in the last few months. Yeah.
But I kind of love this. I love, like, I'm so proud of you for, like, what you've been doing, like, the last 6 to 12 months. Like, I actually, like, Sami's just been going for it. Like, she's been doing acting classes.
Oh my God.
And
There's
like,
a bunch of things. So firstly, I went through a breakup and then was just in this like
always
new era.
transformative. How long
So
were you together with that person?
Like 2 years.
Okay, significant.
Yeah, it was. And I thought I was going to move away, or I thought I was going to go traveling really soon. And then I had a really beautiful grounding friend who was like, just stay put for maybe 6 months. Just like chill out for a hot second, which I've done. And I didn't really know where I was headed. Like, I didn't know what direction I was going in. I was like, I'm just going to sit in this for a bit. And I had this visualization, which I keep telling friends, and it sounds kind of crazy. But I was like, okay, I am like this little organism. I'm in like a womb of some kind, right? It's blue. It's like kind of flashing lights. And I am just like slowly moving towards the light, like slowly wriggling towards things that feel good.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't know what my plan is right now, but I'm just it feels good to spend time with that friend. It feels good to have started this new job. It feels good to sign up for this thing. And I didn't have a plan, but I was just doing things that felt good.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. It just like, anyway, so if anyone's going through something like that and you don't even know quite what you want to do, just like move towards what feels good. People that feel good.
yeah.
And people who
Hobbies.
also find those things good will be there as well.
Yeah.
And then you can be like, do you find this good? I find this good. Oh my God, let's be friends.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so nice.
And then also with like, you also mentioned in this initial episode that we're referring to, leveraging casual connections and like leaning into hobbies, like leaning into kind of just showing up at these places, doing these things. And kind of before this transition period of my life, I was really feeling like I was lacking community and lacking kind of friendship. I had all of these deep friendships already, but definitely community, as you're describing. I felt like I was lacking. But I also was not making a lot of money at the time. And I knew that I wanted to sign up for a class or like sign up for, you know, go to the bouldering gym or whatever, like things that cost money. And I didn't quite justify it. I was like, oh, I couldn't possibly. Like I could do a craft from home. I can work out from home. I can go for a run. And it was so isolating. And in this new kind of era, I've actually signed up for a lot of things, but you don't have to sign up for a lot of things. It could just be one. And it is so worth it. It is so worth it to just show up and be there. I just can't, cannot advocate for that enough.
And also just like as a friend, like you see it when your friends are like open themselves up to this. Like I think it's really beautiful, like when you do have those longer term friendships, because you kind of see each other through different chapters. And so like seeing Sami like do all of this like amazing stuff, it's wonderful because you like every time you see her, like she's growing into herself even more. Yeah. So I think it's like
look at this platonic friendship going on here.
Yeah. So I think like I would say don't let those really important relationships dictate you stepping outside to try and find something else, because if they haven't shown you yet that they're in it for the long haul or that they want to be around, then you have to release them at some point. So I think that's something else that I would say.
And just like how transformative it is to, if you feel like you need more people in your life, new people, new friendships, new hobbies. Like I was really convinced that the issue was Canberra and that I'd just been here for too long and I needed to move. And that was the one thing I was certain of. And then I changed everything else except for that. And everything is amazing. Like it was just...
I read this study the other day, actually, that a lot of people think, oh, if I move cities, my life will change. It's the place. And they did this study where they were like, it's not. Your stuff follows you. And a lot of people have this initial like honeymoon phase with their new city or their new country. And then it's like this actually, all this stuff is still here.
Yeah, like habitually you're not doing anything different.
It's called hedonic adaptation, actually, for the psychological babes out there who want the term. So I'm glad that you didn't fall into the myth of what's it called? I think it's called the geographical myth.
Yeah, it's been amazing. And then also I think kind of coming back to this overall emphasis on community and building community, such a big part of that is just showing up, just like getting outside of your house and showing up.
Just go.
Yeah, and I in this new era started working at a gallery, and so like have become way more connected to the arts community, and have been going to a lot of art exhibition openings.
And those are free.
They're free and so social. You're hardly looking at. I love art, but you're hardly looking at the art those nights. You're just chatting to people. That and just, I don't know, I feel like I used to write that off and just see things pop up and be like, yeah, I could. But like just go to the things, show up in the places.
Be uncomfortable.
And like also you're not necessarily going to hit it off with someone straight away, but through like continually bumping into people, and then eventually you'll be like, do you want to go to something together or get a coffee?
Do you want to be my friend?
Do you want to be my friend?
Yeah. I think that's a great place to leave this one.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been so nice having this conversation. We really appreciate you coming on Platonically Yours.
Thanks for having me, guys. It was a beautiful episode.
And where can everyone find you?
Yeah, well, you can listen to my podcast, The Psychology of Your 20s, or Mantra, wherever you get podcasts. And you can buy my book, Person in Progress, wherever you get books, or follow me on Instagram at Jemma Sbeg, Jemma with a J.
Awesome. And you can follow us on Spotify and all of the platforms, and also on all of the socials. And that's it.
At Platonically Yours podcast.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.